Hello everyone. My name is Tanvi Ma'am. I am a criminal lawyer and I am the faculty for the legal section for this class. And today we will be covering constitutional law. So, under constitutional law, I'll start with teaching you the basics of constitutional law, which is your fundamental rights, three extremely important fundamental rights, which actually turn out to be the golden triangle or are referred to the golden triangle in legal terminology. And we will also be learning about the basic structure as has been enlightened in case of Nanda Bharti, which is the most important case that every law student must know. So to begin with, our constitution enshrines upon us various articles, right? Our constitution is inclusive of a lot of articles which are divided into fundamental rights, fundamental duties, powers of the union, powers of the state, legislature, executive, judiciary, etc. So we won't divulge too much into that. We will just be covering fundamental rights today. So what are fundamental rights? These are rights that are given to you by virtue of the constitution only by the nature that you are a citizen of India. By that I mean that if you are born in India, you are a resident of India, you will have these rights de facto, right? So when we talk about fundamental rights, I'm sure you must have learned it in school also. Some of the most common fundamental rights we know are right to freedom of religion, right to freedom of expression, right to vote, right to freedom of trade, right? So as a law student, you must know all the articles that cover these particular rights, and we must understand the interpretation of these rights also. So starting with right to equality, which is Article 14, covered under Article 14. Article 14 says that the law must treat everybody equally and give equal protection of law to everybody. So it is divided into two components, equal treatment and equal protection. So what do you understand by equal treatment? Equal treatment basically means that one must not be discriminated by your sex, gender, any economic background, the color of your skin, your race, etc. Right? Your background, your financial status. Irrespective of that, the government that is ruling our country should not discriminate you on the basis of these particular factors. That is covered under the first component of Article 14, which is your right to equality. What do I mean by equal protection of law? When I say equal protection of law, there is a phrase in legal terminology that you will learn, is that equals must be treated equally and unequals should be treated unequally. So what that exactly means is that people who are lesser privileged, somebody who comes from a lesser background as compared to other citizens of a particular society, are given special treatment so as to give them that protection of law under Article 14. So this is your right to equality. Following that, we have Article 19. Okay, so Article 19 enumerates a lot of freedoms upon a particular citizen. Right? So what are these freedoms? You must have heard of right to trade, right to freely move, right to form unions, right to freedom of religion. All these rights, all these freedoms are covered under Article 19. Right? So Article 19 has 6 sub-clauses that is covered, and you have all these particular freedoms under Article 19. Now Article 21. Article 21 talks about your right to life and right to liberty. So what exactly does right to life and right to liberty mean? Right to life and right to liberty has now been interpreted to include almost each and every right, ranging from your right to marry somebody of your choice, to right to vote, to right to information. All these things are covered under right to life. So everything that a citizen, an individual needs to live a life properly under a state is governed under Article 21. Now why is it that I am separating these three fundamental rights, these three articles, from all the other articles covered under the Constitution? That is because there is a concept called as rule of law. Okay, rule of law and the basic structure is something that has been um, covered by numerous judgments since post-independence, since our constitution came into the making, right? So what exactly is rule of law? Rule of law talks about the winning of law over everything else. Okay, so law is above everything else. It everything covered like power, arbitrariness, the state, the power of the government authorities, everything falls under the law. It is the law that decides what happens with the state, and it is the law that decides what happens with an individual. So you won't just find your fundamental rights in the constitution, you will also find powers of the state, right? So when I say powers of the state, that means that a state has a limited power to indulge upon your fundamental rights, to infringe upon your fundamental rights. So why this is so important is because when we talk about rule of law, we establish it on the basis of the golden triangle, which is your article 14, article 19 and your article 21. So article 14, 19 and 21 have been covered under the golden triangle, and it stems from the very first judgment of Kesavananda Bharati, wherein it was held that even to amend the basic structure of a constitution is unconstitutional. So it is against the very spirit of the constitution. You will hear in law school many a times they say that a constitution is a living document. Why do they say that? Because the constitution has its very own spirit. It takes the law ahead and it takes the rights, it evolves the rights of individuals as and when the times keep changing, right? So with that, we know that the golden triangle, right to equality, your freedom of choice and your right to life are these three articles that protect your life, protect your liberty, all your rights that you have when you are living under the state, when you are living under the reign of the state. So it is not that the state has unlimited, unfettered power, right? We have the constitution that protects our liberties, protects our freedom, and as they say, everything comes at a price. So even if the state wants to do something, we can challenge it on the basis of the golden triangle, saying that you are infringing my rights, you are going against my rights, and this particular thing is unconstitutional. So not just as law students but also as citizens of the country, it is very important to be aware of this particular concept. And the reason that I mentioned your basic structure doctrine, which has been given under Kesavananda Bharati, is that the golden triangle has been spoken at large under Kesavananda Bharati, right? And it says that what is our basic structure? Our basic structure is our preamble. Our basic structure is these three articles which will not be infringed upon. So this was it for your constitutional law lecture. I hope to take it further in our coming lectures. Thank you.